Hi folks, welcome back to the Carver's Wood Shop. I know it's been some time since I've done anything for you folks, and I've been very busy with all the shows up in Frankenmuth and in Canada and here in Pennsylvania, and most of the shows are over now until next spring probably, so it's back to carving, and I've met some great people along the way. Many of you came up to see me at these shows, and I appreciate that. It was an honor to meet many of you at the shows. But here's our next project, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of my hobo snowman. Now, I did one some time ago, I don't know, sometime last year, with the eyes. This has no eyes on it. So this is a nice little beginner's project. It's flat. We put a little eye hook at the top of his hat, and he'll be a nice little ornament for Christmas. So let's get started with this. What I went ahead was I cut a piece of wood. This is basswood that I'm using, and it's 1/2 inch thick by about 3 inches long, and about 1 3/4 wide. And what I did was I cut multiple ones. I cut a larger block and sliced them up to make more than one, than doing each silhouette at one time on a bandsaw. It's a little quicker way of cutting them if you can do it in a thicker block and then just slice them like you would, you know, like a meat slicer, you know, putting them through the bandsaw. So this worked out really well for me. I made a couple of these already, and so I thought I'll show you how to make one of these. If you're new to carving, make sure you have your carving glove on and your thumb guard on, and we'll take it from there. The other thing is what I've also done with this, and you can see there's a little bit darker here in the center. I used my alcohol and water mix to soften up the wood. It's 70% rubbing alcohol strength, mixing it half and half with water. It's just regular rubbing alcohol you can get in a drugstore or Walmart or wherever at a normal store. So if you mix that half and half, it's a lot easier to cut your wood. I'm doing a lot of small baby doves right now for an order that I've had, and I will do the same thing to soften up the wood with that. So here we go. I already pre-cut this, so what you want to do when we do this is you want to go ahead and draw your silhouette and draw everything that you need on here on the on the wood itself. I went ahead, you want to be careful with the edges. When you cut, you know, it's very easy to go across like this, and instead of pulling it all the way through, I usually turn it and then I pull it down this way to get the corners really well, because sometimes if you go all the way through and you pull it out too far, you can slice yourself. So you want to be real careful doing that. This isn't that isn't blood, folks. It's ink for my inkjet business. I was refilling some inkjets, and that's where you're seeing the color. It's hard to get off if you get it on your hands. But anyhow, what you want to do is you want to do that first cut, and then you just want to cut it down. And if you're a beginner, you don't want to use a pocket knife like I'm using. You want to use like a stationary knife, because using a pocket knife can close on you, unless it's a lock. Like a lock blade would be okay. So what we want to do, we want to trim that off from the hat, and then we're just going to go ahead and see how I'm using my my thumb for leverage when I cut. Again, I'm going to make a second pass with the stop cut and see how I'll turn it around. Go the opposite way, just like so, and then just cut down into that. And because this is not called in the round, where we're doing all the sides all the way around like we do with our Santas, it's just a flat piece. This is more of like a little relief carving. Okay, these are kind of fun to do because they don't take a lot of time. You know, they can be done in the evening when you're sitting around or watching TV. Well, it's kind of hard to watch and carve, but I used to listen to the TV a lot when I carved down at my folks'. Either the news or whatever they have on. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You just want to round this, take this off a little bit, just like so. Okay, that's our first cut. Now we're going to go on the bottom. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to push it kind of far right here right in the corner where I have the knife, and draw that knife as straight down as possible. You want to be careful when you make your stop cuts, folks, that you don't lean the blade too far in while you're cutting around, because then you'll be digging it into an area you don't want it to. You want to try to leave that blade as flat as you can possibly get it. Okay, if you lean it one way or the other, you're better off leaning it away from the stop cut, like so, than going too far in. Okay, so that's just something to remember. Just be conscious of that when you're doing this, because it's very difficult to teach people. You have to, do it straight down into the wood. I understand a lot of times that's not easy for beginners. That comes along with practice and knowing the feel of your knife, because your knife has a bit of a bevel to it, so you just have to kind of take it easy with it. Okay, so I'm going to do my first little stop cut all underneath. See how I did that? Okay, so that's the first part. Now here in the corners, I'm going to make it just a tad deeper. Just there in the corner, there in the corner. Okay? Now, the nose is here, so we've got to dig that nose out. So what you want to do is you want to put a stop cut, take your knife and tip of your knife and follow that line as straight down as possible. Just like so. Okay? And we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And you just want to dig out that corner. So when you dig it down, in that corner, get my mouth working right here, you want to just push that tip of the blade in that corner, because that corner is going to be a little deeper than most areas. And the thing with relief carving is you're trying to get depth, try to do it in a way that it's the illusion. Okay? See how we have that? Alright. We're going to turn it around. We're going to do the other side. I think I already have that cut. If not, I'll just go ahead and recut that. Just make sure it's nice and deep in that one corner. And then up this way. And then just cutting it out. Okay? Now we're going to go right underneath the nose. That's next. And really, folks, learning how to do these stop cuts really is just a matter of practice. Okay, you don't learn it unless you really do a lot of practicing with your knives. Having a sharp knife is imperative. It's very important to have a nice sharp blade. What I'm using here is a Rough Rider knife. I have several different stationary knives, but lately I've been doing a lot with this because I can carry it with me. And this is a blade that I had to restructure or reshape on my own. Okay, we're running out of time. I'll be right back.